Okay guys, so now I'm going to do a video quickly on rotations. So again, just like with translations and reflections, we have notes in the agenda from the E-Days, also over here on the left side, in the Art of Math, in the Student Resources, class notes, rotation notes. So again, I pulled these from some websites since we weren't able to have class going over the rotations. Things to know about rotations. When we did reflections, reflections are always reflected over a line. Rotations are always rotated about a fixed point. They call it the center of rotation. So here they are rotating at a 90-degree angle about point P. In order to do a rotation, they have to tell you the direction to rotate, whether it being clockwise to the right, like numbers increasing on a clock, or counterclockwise to the left. And they have to tell you the angle at which to rotate it. So whether they're rotating at 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360, or any other measurement, they have to tell you how far to rotate it. So just with those couple things, I want to hit IXL L7 here. I did a couple of the easier ones to get to a harder one to start off with. Some points to note. When you rotate about a point, that point on the new shape it doesn't move. If you think about a basketball player, if you know anything about basketball players, once they stop dribbling the ball, they can't move both feet. Otherwise, it's considered traveling. So what they will do is they'll pivot. They will plant one foot, that's their pivot foot, and they can only move the other foot. So think of it that way. So in this example here, they are wanting you to rotate this rectangle, quadrilateral DEFG, 30 degrees counterclockwise about B. So B is our pivot foot. Pivot foot. B cannot move. If they move B, it's not the right answer. So that's the first thing I'm going to look for. In D, or this first one option here, B, it has not moved. B is B. So that's a good thing. In this one, they've completely moved B, right? So B is between D and E here in the original. Well, it would be, and it's closer to E, so therefore it would be somewhere up here. Can't move it. They've moved their pivot foot. That's not an option. Now for this next one, same thing. They have moved their pivot foot. So therefore it can't be. And here in this last one, B looks to have not moved. It looks like they just rotated E here. So now we have to look and see which one has rotated 30 degrees. In order to do that, what I like to do is pick one of the points, my pivot point, and its new point, and see what kind of angle they make. So here, D, B, and D prime, that makes an obtuse angle, which is definitely not 30 degrees. It's almost a straight line. So therefore, that's not 30 degrees clockwise. Again, or sorry, counterclockwise. So we're going to the left. If I come down here to the bottom, I want to go to the left. So even though it looks like E has moved to the right, it's really gone to the left when we're talking about a circle. So if we look D to B to D prime, the new one, that looks absolutely like a 30-degree angle, and it has moved in a counterclockwise rotation. If we look at E to B to E prime, that also looks like a 30-degree angle, and it has went in a counterclockwise rotation. So I'm definitely going to choose that for my answer. I'll do another one. This one is rotating about one of the vertexes, F. So again, F should not move. F and F prime should be the same. They are in this figure. They are in this figure. They are not here, so we're going to cancel out that third option. And they're not in this last option. So we're just going to look at these two here. And again, we're looking for 45 degrees counterclockwise. So I want F is here, E is here. E should come up counterclockwise here. So if I go here, E should be up here. Not the case. But if I look here, E should be up here as it is. And I look at that angle created between E, F, and E prime, and that definitely looks like a 45-degree angle. So we're going to go ahead and select that as an option. So now let's go back to our echo, to our notes. And now we're going to talk about rotation in a coordinate plane. So when I'm starting in the first quadrant with an image and I want to rotate counterclockwise, every 90 degrees that I rotate, it moves over one quadrant. So 90 degrees we put it into 2, 180 puts it 3, 270 puts it 4, and the 360 puts it back on itself. So rotation 90 degrees, ABC would flip from this first quadrant into the second quadrant. A goes from 1, 1 to negative 1, 1. B goes from 1, 5 to negative 5, 1. And C goes from 4, 5 to negative 5, 4. If we look at the relationship between the X and the Y, they flip. So we'll look at B. My 5 is now first, and then my 1, going from B to B prime. And my 5 becomes negative. So the relationship is that XY becomes negative YX. I'm going to hop all the way down to the bottom to this nice little chart. This is kind of like your cheat sheet for these next two IXLs. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to minimize my screen here, and I have it here so that I can go back and forth as we're doing this IXL, if this works the way I want it to work. So I'm going to do the first one, which is L9. I'm going to minimize the screen also a little bit here. Okay, so this one wants me, L8, sorry. So for L8, this one wants me to rotate 270 degrees counterclockwise. So I'm going to look at my chart here, and I'm going to use this bottom row here. So I'm going counterclockwise 270 degrees. So that means my X and my Y flip. So G is at negative 1. So now I'm going to go Y negative 1. Sorry. My X is at negative 1. My Y is at negative 4. So my negative 4 from my Y is going to become my X. And my negative 1 is now going to become positive 1 right here. And I would highly recommend opening up a document or using some scratch paper. And if you just write down the coordinates of your pre-image, which is the original, and then do the work to make the reflected and then plot those points, it will be a lot easier on you. But now h is at -4, so that -4 for my y becomes my x again. And it was at -6, that becomes +6. Now I can do e is at -9 on my y. So now that becomes -9 on my x. And -6 becomes +6. F goes from -1. Sorry, -9 on the x because now the y, -9x here. And negate the 1, -1 to become +1. So I'm actually going to do a document so you can see what I mean. So my original image was h was at -4. Sorry. Well, x first, -6, -4. And that's very important. You just have to make sure that you're getting your x's and your y's right. G is at, over here, -1 and -4. F down here is at -1 and -9. And E is at -6, -9. So following my rule up here, I'm rotating counterclockwise 270 degrees. H prime. My y is now going to become first, -4. Then the x, but I'm going to go negative of it, +6. My g prime should be -4 and 1. And my f prime will become -9, 1. Oops. My e prime should become -9, 6. So now let's look at our new one. I should have -4, 6, -4, 1, -9, 1, and -9, 6. So based on our rule, that should be correct. Now this will help you. The first one, L8, you are just doing that, graphing them. But again, open a document, do like I did, and list your points, and then use this little chart to change your points, plot those, and you're done. And then L9, you can eliminate the document. You won't need that anymore. Whoops, sorry. Because they've made the list for you. So I don't even really have to look at this picture up here. I could just look at my roll. So they want me to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now, one thing I want to point out, when you're going 180, it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise, because that's halfway. And halfway is halfway regardless of which way you turn. So back to this one, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So that's this row here, which says that I'm going to flip my y and x, and my first one's going to be my y becomes negative. So if I have 4 negative 8, that means my x term goes to, instead of being in the first column, goes to the second column. So I have 4, and that doesn't change. I'm going to put those in first. 9 and 1. So I just moved my x from first in the parentheses to second. And it didn't change because it's saying there was a negative in front of it. Now I'm going to move my y from second to first, but I'm going to apply that negative. So negative 8 times negative 1, you could think of it as, or two negatives become a positive 8. Again, negative 8 becomes positive 8. And 0 we cannot negate, so we just put 0. And then we can submit it. So hopefully that helps you guys. Sorry, it's not a super long video. I didn't do too many examples. But always, 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 if you get stuck, reach out to myself or Mrs. Lee. We're here to help you guys. I know I don't plan on going anywhere in this frigid cold. So if you need help, take a screenshot, email it to us, take a picture of your computer, whatever it is. We will do our absolute best to help you. Good luck, stay warm, and hopefully these videos will definitely help you guys get through these assignments and get these grades up. See you soon.